If it's something you've been doing on the side, a hobby, or just something that comes naturally, then that still counts as experience. It's just figuring out how that experience applies to your industry and the path you want to pursue. If it's something that you're passionate about, but you're just uncertain if you could get results, then just practice on your circle of influence or practice on yourself. Like, this is what I would pretty much prefer. Practice on yourself and make you the first case study. And what that will do is just, help you build that confidence, and it serves as proof that you know what you're doing. So to provide y'all with a little bit of, comfort on that, what you know is not what will separate you from competitors, because there will always be someone that knows more than you, right? But it's how you deliver your message that makes you unique, that makes your brand unique. But I feel like, being an expert is more of a traditional and textbook approach to whatever your path is. I feel like you should pursue whatever it is as a way of life. Basically something that comes naturally to you. You never want to hold back just because you don't know something. You always want to approach it as share what you do know as it relates to your industry, because you're always gonna grow from what you don't know. I'll just give y'all a quick example. I've read this book, right? It's called The $1 Trillion Coach by Bill Campbell. And basically he coached, big brand name companies like Google, Apple, and a lot more. But he started out as a football coach. So what qualified him to even coach these big brands, right? This is what I mean by it has to be your way of life. There's always a way that you can add value to something and someone, no matter what industry you're in. It's just figuring out what your experience is and how that can relate to whatever you're trying to do. For anyone that's in the sports or watches sports, you know that for the most part, it's a lot of team concepts and things of that sort. If there's an ego, if there's lack of communication, people aren't on the same page, it's detrimental to the overall goal. What this book explains is basically how Bill took those concepts from coaching his football teams, because what he was able to realize is that these businesses are still ran by people and they still operate as teams. What he basically did was coach these teams, right, to communicate and act as communities, which means to basically get everyone in their position to be on the same page for the overall, goal of the brand, of the company. And amongst other things, I don't want to give it away in case, somebody is going to read it. I don't want to spoil the whole thing. But basically what he did was apply what came naturally, what he was already doing in coaching football, into the business world. And he became a $1 trillion coach because it was his way of life. He was not an expert at it. He had a non-traditional approach to business, which is why he serves as such a huge contribution to their overall growth. I think we should change our perspective, and our mindset to being students of the game. What that mindset does is relieve a lot of pressure off of you, because as a student, you automatically know that you're here to learn. And that's ultimately what we're doing anyway. You're never gonna know everything. You're always gonna be learning something. There's always gonna be something that you could have done better, and you would just take notes, adjust, and then apply that moving forward. Here are a few things to keep in mind. You wanna enjoy the journey. How you deliver your message is what makes you unique. Change your approach to a way of life. And then the last thing is confidence. So that's another way of looking at it, and hopefully that relieves some pressure off of you if you feel like you're not an expert yet. But we all go through it, and hopefully this gave y'all some perspective. You're not alone. Let me know in the comments if this made sense, if it didn't make sense, if this was helpful, if it wasn't. I like to hear what y'all have to say. And make sure y'all go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.